Still live. All right. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Dad, the Rakshik of London, and this is gonna be our topic. Our topic for today is all about music and, of course, about life. This is a visionary with our with our handsome guest all the way from Queensland, Australia. All right, so let's just going to call our special guest for today, ladies and gentlemen. He is all the way from Queensland, Australia, and of course, he is a songwriter and he produces his own music. And now, here in our Visionaries, we are welcoming him, of course. Here in London, it's just really amazing to have this wonderful musician, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Mr. Jason Brian Bigalla. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason.
Hi everybody, great to be here today on the Jerry Dada show, and thank you for this amazing opportunity, Jerry. Welcome everybody, hello across the world. I know there's a lot of people tuning in, so I believe there's America and Philippines, Kumasta. Yeah, just hello world, and good evening, good morning. Great to be here on the show tonight, Jerry.
Right. So, wow, you know how to speak Tagalog. It's just amazing, right? Obviously, well, one of your song is Tagalog version. What this is just cool. All right. How are you, Jason? Welcome to our show. Wow, you look so handsome. Whoa.
Oh, thank you, thank you. No, I'm feeling really good actually. Very excited about tonight. Yeah, great opportunity to be able to share with yourself and all your viewers in the world a little bit about myself and a little bit about my music. So yeah, it's awesome.
Wow, it is just so amazing to have you here. Thank you so much. Yes, of course, this is Jerry welcoming you, and of course, all the guests all over the world watching right now. We would like to welcome you all for coming back here in my visionary program and one, which we are talking about life, talking about something else that really you can relate our life, especially the life of musician. Right now,
Yes,
today Jason Brian, all the way from Australia, which he is sharing us what is the goodness in life of what he's been done in his life. So, Jason, tell us about yourself.
a little bit about myself. Wow, how many hours have we got?
How
I've
many
done a
years?
lot. I think throughout life, I've always come back to music as being my passion. I've probably been like a lot of people in the music industry, the ups and downs. I've rode those waves where the highs of music and the lows of music. And I suppose, in a sense, that makes us a lot stronger. COVID's certainly done that to a lot of us. We've had to become stronger, both mentally um, and uh, and I suppose also stronger for friends and family and all that sort of thing as well. It's been an awful last couple of years, and certainly here in Australia, we're probably just starting to experience what a lot of the world saw six to 12 months ago. We're just starting to get those numbers come into our country now, which is a real worry for us.
Yeah.
Uh, I know you said a little bit about myself. I've got off track. As a young man, I joined the Air Force, so I was in the military. Um, I did 6 years in the Air Force. I came out of the Air Force, and um, while I was doing some retail type stuff, I happened to go to a karaoke contest, and never
Yeah.
really done a lot of singing before. Anyway, I won the karaoke contest. Little did I know at the time that the person that was operating the discs for the karaoke contest was a gentleman by the name of Wayne Foster. Now, for those that don't know Wayne Foster was the tenors for the Drifters, the original Drifters that rode Under the Boardwalk, um, Save the Last Dance for Me, This Magic Moment, all those things. So all of a sudden, after I connected with him in this show, he contacted me and we started working together, and that was the start of my music career.
Oh
So I
wow.
actually started doing more rock and roll type genre, 60s, 70s, Elvis kind of type music in a lot of clubs and bowls clubs and all that sort of thing. And I branched into countries probably towards the late 90s. I really found a passion for country music, and more so it connected with me more lyrically, that I could tell a story and I could be a storyteller. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, what story behind on that in the country music that you're talking about in your music?
Yeah, well, the country music, I think it probably always been there. I grew up as a young boy with my dad being an absolute country fanatic,
Mm-hmm.
playing songs like Glenn Campbell and John Denver, um, and Merle Haggard. Um, so it was funny. So when I went into country music, I kind of remembered half these songs anyway. They must have sort of been ingrained into my memory from Dad playing them over and over and over again. Of course, we had some very big icons here in Australia too, growing up with a guy called Slim Dusty, who's no longer with us, but he was the, I suppose, the original sort of bush poet, balladeer slash real sort of Australian country music. He kind of created, I believe, the scene to a certain degree, yeah, over here.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the best music that you made in the country music? What is the best one you make so far?
Well, that's a hard question because as a songwriter, you love all your music that you write and
Exactly,
put
but you have a
together.
favorite one, right?
Yeah, I probably do. I think probably one that touches my heart the most is She's My Mother.
Oh
Um,
wow.
it's a song that I wrote for my mother in a very difficult time in our life. And my mum, and I've talked about this before in other shows, mum developed cancer at a very young age.
Oh.
And as a young man, I held her hand and I watched her go through that. That's 18 years ago now, and she's still alive. But she
She's
still
still
has
alive.
regular treatment. Yeah, still has
Oh,
regular
thank
treatment.
God she's still alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
And recently, when I wrote that song, mum's blood count levels, everything had changed. And it still has, platelet count had dropped, all those things. So the story that we heard 18 years ago was sort of, we were reliving that again. So I needed a way to be able to express to mum what she meant to me and how I saw her. So it was kind of like writing a letter to mum. And I think
Yeah.
that's the beauty about country music. It was really just writing a letter to mum. And then from that, um, I kind of got this tune in my head, and that was it. We wrote this song, and I had probably one of the best fiddle players, what I consider in the world, doing the backing music to it and helping produce this one with Pixie Jenkins, who over here in Australia is like the king of Tamworth, which is the country music festival over here in Australia that helped me put it all together. So
Mm-hmm.
it all came together, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful tune, a lovely melody.
Jason, ever since when I came, ever since when I learned that music, my first love of the music is country music. When
Wow.
was when when did you start, and what a younger age did you start on your country music?
I started probably writing poetry at the age of 5. So
Five.
really, grade 1, I started writing lyrics and poetry, and
So
it's funny. I can
literally,
still remember some of those poems I wrote. Some of them were terrible. I remember writing a lyric. My old dog called Jack couldn't even climb a haystack. He barked and wailed and barked again, trying to climb that old haystack again. Then one day, the farmer left her a ladder lay. He climbed the haystack and then fell down and broke his back. it was,
oh,
it was just I had a natural way of being able to tell a story, even
mhm.
at a young age. So I wrote that probably around about the age of 5 or 6 years of age, and I still remember it to this day in my
Yeah,
head.
that's
Um,
so good.
yeah, my love for country music, I suppose, as a young boy, I sang a lot in choirs and in church and those kind of things. I grew up in a church life, went to a Christian school. Um, and so I'd always been attached to music in a certain way. I don't think country music really hit me until, as an artist, you're left with the decision. Okay, I'm playing all this music. What do I enjoy the most? What am I passionate? I think I was probably about 25, 26, Jerry. To answer your
Really?
question, yeah.
Wow. Hmm. So you felt in love about music country when you were in that age, right?
Absolutely. I think I loved all genres. Even today, give me a good jazz record and a bottle of red, and just let me sit down and listen to it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just
So
beautiful. Yeah.
how did you like from that? How did you start within that 5 years old when you when you were started at 5 years old? Who thought of you music?
I don't think anyone really thought about it. I think teachers and that probably told mum and dad I had a certain gift for writing poetry and music and that sort of thing. And that continued right through my schooling. And I would do it as a hobby. I would write poetry all the
Oh,
way through.
all right.
Um, when I started singing and when I won that, when I'd done that karaoke contest and met Wayne Foster, it all kind of come together. So all of a sudden, um, I was starting to write more and more music because I was hanging around a lot of people in the music industry. I got introduced to Patrick from the Coasters and the guy there was another guy that played Nat King Cole for the Drifters and Billy Washington himself. And so after a show, we'd literally go back. I think I was the most luckiest person in the world. We'd go back to my house. And I would have all these legendary musicians from Georgia and,
That's so cool.
all these areas just sitting around, and we're pulling out guitars and,
Mm-hmm.
playing the drums with a few plastic containers, and we were making music, after a show, after we had a few drinks. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a wonderful way to be introduced into the industry.
Exactly. So that was the time when you were 25 years old. When was it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
When you were 25 years old. So that was the time when you feel like, oh, this is it. This is it. I can find my passion here.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah. So wow, that was really really good. And you won the competition, right? So
yeah. I
I'm
won a
just
competition. It was just like every even now. I think if you went to Australia, karaoke is quite a big thing over here, and a mate of mine had encouraged me to go along initially, and I can remember the first time I sort of got up was, wow, you got a real rush from it, already I could feel, yep, this is what I want to do. I love being in front of people. I love being able to share my music, and I love being on stage. So from there, that was the direction I wanted to be in.
exactly. So did you experience performing on a live sorts of a lot of people really, and at first time you did your music, did you experience all this audience looking at you and feeling happy or bored? What do you think about that? What did you learn from this kind of thing?
I think what I learnt was that an hour before the show, you basically feel sick. There's so much nervous energy that's running through your body. And
You see.
then you get on stage and you start to, after a while, you just start to go, wow, I'm on stage. And it just hits you. You just click into a different gear and you become almost this different person, you know. You have this different persona on stage, and you're able to carry the anxiety and the nerves through by having this different persona.
How did you manage this? How did you cope up these things?
I think I think for me it was practice, practice, practice. It
Mm-hmm.
was I had to be confident. So I wasn't if I wasn't confident singing a song that I knew 100% or couldn't play, or I didn't really want to put it out there, or go there. I just practiced and practiced and practiced. So even when you first start, you're getting little dribs and drabs of gigs and that, and you probably got at least 2 or 3 days where you can practice quite a few hours each day. And
Mm-hmm.
I can just remember practicing and practicing and practicing to the point where you'd go on there and it'd just feel like another rehearsal live. The
Mm-hmm.
way you rehearsed, that's how you went on live. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and try to be as professional as you could be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you experience as well as a musician, of course, especially when you are in a gathering, yeah,
Yep.
and some other people really want you to sing abruptly, like in in front of them, literally you have to just sing because they know that you are a singer and you are a performer, so you cannot just like practice yourself in that moment. Did you experience this without any preparation for yourself to just go just go and sing? Did you How did you manage this kind of situation that let the people let you sing in in that activity there?
I think what I tried to do, Jerry, was within the shows, you weren't just a singer, you had to be the whole thing. So you had to be a performer, you had to tell a few jokes, you had to be able to connect with the audience. You
Wow.
worked your way into the audience. So you talked about, so how's everyone going out there tonight? And, hope you're here to enjoy some great country music. And, for those of you that love Slim Dusty, well, we won't be playing any of that tonight. So and people would start to relate to you and laugh a little bit. And I think one of the things that you could do then was you're able to you're more confident in your show because you're connecting with the audience rather than just get up there and just singing one song after another. You're
Yes.
actually connecting with them as a person, as an artist. Um, a lot of the time in the shows, you probably talked a lot more to the audience. It was a sort of maybe a 60-40 kind of split. You sang for 60%, 40% of the time was just connecting with the audience, and
How do you feel about that?
yeah. Well, I think as an artist, I think what sets people aside as of a singer or an entertainer is personality, and
Mm-hmm.
you've got to bring that personality to the stage with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because if you go up there and there's this little nervous, anxious person, or people can turn on a record player and listen to that. They want to go to a show, a live show. They want to experience something they've never experienced before. So you're not just presenting your music, presenting you, who you
Yeah,
really
exactly.
are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
100% is you.
yeah.
So did you ever experience that sometimes we're out of our mind, and even you know the lyrics and you forget it because of something, there's a reason behind that you don't know, and you
Yep.
literally forget everything, and you
Yep.
are already in front of the people. Do you experience this kind of thing?
Oh, plenty of times.
Plenty
And
of
and
times.
and and you get really good at humming, or turning your guitar up slightly louder, or going, okay, oh, listen to that drummer play. You know what I mean? Or you just try and divert it, or do the best you can. Or sometimes, if worst comes to worst, you make up a few lyrics.
just you just you just gonna, you don't know how to carry on, and so it's just humming until the end, humming until the end.
One of the things that I was always taught, and it always sticks in my head, was don't stop. Whatever you do, don't stop.
Yeah.
If you forget a word, if you haven't come in the right way, don't stop. Just think of something else to do.
And then at the end of the day, I forgot the lyrics, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yes, yes, but that wasn't a good lyric anyway, so I've left that one out.
You know, that's the good thing when that is the, if you are really a musician, whatever you do, you have all in one. Because otherwise, if that instance that you forget something, you have something like another talent
Yeah,
to reconnect again to the audience, if you know what I mean. So it's very hard sometimes, especially when you are in anxiety attack and you are there, you don't know what to do, don't you? So you've been experiencing this kind of problems in front of the people,
oh, plenty
thousands
of
of
times.
people.
I don't know how many Elvis songs I destroyed by making up the lyrics,
It is true.
or um, really just sort of, yeah, okay. Whatever you needed to do to get through it.
Okay, so that's just so fun. But what was the best piece of advice to the other artists out there, especially the new ones, right? What?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd like to know what are the best artists that I listen to right now?
No, I mean, what can you tell? What can you advise for the new youngsters at the
I,
moment?
I think I think it's be authentic, be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We've already got a Lionel Richie. We've got we've got a Blake Sheldon. We've got all these country singers. We've got Lionel Richie doing the stuff that he does. And a lot of new artists come in, and I think what they try and do is, because it's often the way people communicate with them too. So if they don't try and sound exactly the way the original track sounds,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people get criticised for that. Well, that's terrible. You've destroyed that song or whatever. You got to be authentic to yourself, because what you'll find is that there'll be those people out there that won't like the way you change a song, but there'll be a whole lot of people that do.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually what happens is, once you continue to be authentic and continue to put your music out in the way that you intended it to go out,
Mm-hmm.
um, people will start to to listen and to like what you do.
Mm-hmm.
The people that really want to be in your fan base or in your circle will connect with you. So my biggest thing is just be authentic, and perseverance.
Perseverance.
Perseverance. It's not easy. It's not an easy industry for anybody to just say, okay, I want to be a musician and I want to come into this thing. There are millions and millions and millions of great singers out there, and a lot of those guys are unsigned and can't sort of get anywhere with their music, and it's not because they aren't fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they don't have the connections, or um, you know, and some of those guys unfortunately lose the perseverance. They lose their passion because they just feel as though I'm just getting knocked down one time after another. But if you're really passionate about something, you've got to persevere. I always say, Jerry, that God will provide. If it's meant
Exactly.
to be, God is my master. He is He is everything in my life. He gives me the greatest direction. So,
That's so good
um,
that, Jason has a God. You believe in God yourself, and through all these things, will be added into you. Mm. And
yeah,
that's what that was the Bible saying. How's the intimate relationship with you, with our God?
beg your pardon.
How's the intimate relationship with you, with our God, especially in this time?
Oh, it's the most important relation to me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a Christian pretty much since the age of 11 years of age.
Oh,
Um,
all right.
Admittedly, I've been like a lot of Christians that have gone wayward and come back and that. Um, but every morning and every night and every opportunity I have, I just give thanks. I think that the other beautiful thing about it is that if something doesn't happen because you don't want it to, because it hasn't happened and you've expected it to, well then you look at things a bit different too. You go, okay, well, I wonder what God's got in store for me. So you don't allow the things that haven't happened in your life to get you down or to keep you down,
That's
if
really,
that
really
makes sense. So
beautiful.
yeah, God and I have got a pretty good relationship. I talk to him quite regularly about you know what he sees as his future for me. But
That's so nice, Jason. That's so
yeah,
really nice to know that you have this connection to the God. We have a lot of gods in there. That's what they believe, or what you believe, whatsoever gods you have there available in there. But we knows that there is God, and that's the main thing there.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people really believe of what they believe, and whatever it is, whatever they believe. But you have a God inside of your heart, which is a beautiful inside of yours. Um, well, that's so good, good, Jason. So, what made you musician, by the way?
What made me a musician? I've got to say that I think that again, I think it comes down to that. I think God gives everybody a set of talents,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I think that really He was in control of that. You know, He saw this as a way, I think, for me reaching out to people and to connect with people,
Mm-hmm.
and He's using me in a way that can share a message. And right now, I think that along with a lot of my fellow musicians, and you know them, Sir Marvin, Sir Rusty, Danny Lynch, Lady V, all those people, we've all connected through the unity of music,
Exactly.
wanting things to be unified across this globe, wanting to be able to share our message and our passion with the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Um, in our society this time, there's a lot of competitions. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you manage this, in your own opinion?
I was incredibly blessed. I went from winning that contest to within 6 weeks having a full dinner show with Wayne Foster and some of the most amazing band members. Blokes. One bloke, Tony Fable, he was the keyboardist for George Thorogood from the Beatles when he came over here and played on Thursday Island. He
Wow.
was picked to play with George. I had him. I had another drummer, a guy called China Boy, and full wraparound drum kit, and he played all throughout Sydney, and he came to do the show because Wayne had all these connections. So from that, I managed to get regular work
Mm-hmm.
from the same place I did that show as a solo entertainer. And then back in the early '90s, what was really easy in Australia, and probably not so much now, was um, there was a lot of entertainment management companies. So I actually sent demos. I remember sending tapes of myself. I think the one of the tapes I sent again was a lot of Elvis impersonations. Um, Puppet on a String, I think might have been. Anyway, I got a call back saying, yeah, we're interested. Come in. And from that moment, I was getting regular work at the big RSLs here in the clubs. And they were paying me really good money, and I could make a living on it for quite some time.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah,
Wow, that's so good. So, Jason, what do you have? What strength? What really the strength do you have that you believe make you a great musician yourself?
patience.
A patience. Oh, yeah, that's true. All right, now
Yeah, that's
guys,
that's 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 a pretty easy one. You've got to be patient. You've got to be patient.
patience in terms of what? There's a lot of like patience for making the music, and then it will gonna come out in the tabloids. Is that what you mean? Patience?
Absolutely, not forcing it, allowing it to come organically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many unfinished songs I've got in the cupboard where I've written them, I've got to the second verse, I'll put them back, and then some days I'll just pick them up and I'll be able to write the third verse. And you know, so it's not pushing yourself too hard. It's if you want to be truly happy with your music, you've got to be patient. You've got
Oh,
to
wow.
allow it to all come together again.
That's so cool. That's really true.
Yeah.
Now, did, do you have frustration in life?
Restrictions?
Frustration in life,
Oh,
in terms,
absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely. I think that
particularly in the music.
yeah, I think probably the hardest thing is that uh, as an independent artist, it's
Mm-hmm.
really, really difficult to. The frustration is to really get your music out there. So, in terms of your mainstream kind of radios and television and all that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
all that space is kind of taken up by commercial artists. You've got to be extremely lucky. I've had my music played on a couple of big commercial stations this year, which has been really good. But it's not like it gets played all the time. They'll put it on their playlist, and you might hear your song, once every couple of months. Where somebody that's signed with the likes of Sony Music or EMI or those kind of things, there'll be a regular playing all the time. And I think that can be frustrating because I think a lot of independent or indie artists really feel that because I think that's where a lot of the perseverance goes, well, what have I got to do?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like me, you don't want to sign with those bigger sort of networks or record companies or anything anyway, because you lose your authenticity as a person, as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be in control of what you want to put out.
Yeah. So this is really very important that when in terms of feeling like that, you have to know, or you should feel in the same time talking to yourself on how can I manage this kind of feeling, because
Absolutely.
this kind of thing is absolutely difficult to manage yourself. But anyway, um along the way you did a good job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Along the way you just really had a good job in the music, because as you told me, tell us again today that you wrote a lot of music. How many of them now?
I probably produced and recorded around 12 or 13 songs now, but I'd have probably 50, 60 songs that I've written that I just haven't done
It's
anything with at the moment.
incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Jason, you know what? This year, 2021, this is the right time for you to go out. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. I can tell. Um, Now we're doing in the live stream today. A lot of people really wants to hear your voice,
Okay.
and then in this case, country music is the number one beautiful all over the world for me. For me, in the music, that was my first song choice
Yep.
that I love about my life. Like, wow, this is so beautiful. Like, I can just feel like in my home, I can do all the things in my home together with this country music. And it's just so amazing. And now it comes up to James, to Jason, Brian to do this music. And I think people really wants to hear what else you've got in here, and we're very excited to know about what did you write, what it is all about actually. Now, there is one song, and there's a few songs that you wrote that really people really wants to hear more about it.
Okay.
And can you sing something for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think this is people really
I
waiting for this, Jason, for long, 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 long time now.
I'm
So far,
just sort of
Jason.
setting things up here, so I've got everything sort of set up, if that's
Yeah.
okay.
So let you set up yourself, Rouse. I'm just gonna tell them. I'm gonna let you prepare yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Can you hear me okay through here?
Yes, it's
Okay.
perfectly perfect. Sounds is good.
So I'm just going to set up.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jason is he is preparing on his music now, country music. So actually, this is I've been very very excited. Um, yeah. So here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jason Brian Regala, all the way from
Okay.
Australia, the
So
countryman.
I'd like to do this little tune for you right now. This one's called Mahelko, Mahelko, Mahel Guitar. And it's a little song I wrote pretty much for my sweetheart. It was a love letter to her, and Heidi Sibaluka. This is dedicated to her, and of course Heidi's from the Philippines, and we've met each other a long time ago now. We've been together over 13 months, and I wrote this song for her as a love letter to her, and to express, I suppose, my love towards not only her but two cultures, Australian culture and the Philippine culture. So I hope you enjoy this. I look in your eyes, I'm lost and I'm mesmerized. It's like swimming in an ocean, my best friend. And this love I feel, so real. Mahelko, Mahelko, Mahel guitar. Mahelko, Mahelko, Mahel guitar. Mahelko, Mahelko, Mahel guitar. What's crazy about this feeling is I'm lost in Cupid's game. Heart beats a little faster, and you reel me in again. And this love I feel will shine on through. Mahelko, Mahelko, Mahel Helco, 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 welcome and start. Got the lady. Welcome and start. Got the lady. Come and start, come and start, come and start. Got the lady. Oh, come and start. Got the lady. Helco, Helco, Helco. Helco, Helco, Helco. Helco, Helco, Helco. So I write this song to you, my best friend. I'm crazy for you, hoping our love will grow and grow, and my love for you it'll end. Malcolm, 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 Malcolm. Helco, Helco, Helco. Helco, Helco, Helco. Helco, Helco, Helco. Helco, Helco, Helco. Helco, Helco, Helco.
Whoa, that's so cool. Wow. That is a beautiful, beautiful Filipino rendition. Yeah. That is so good. That is so good. I like that, mahal na mahal kita. So, definitely how to speak Tagalog now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our a heart of Filipino, a heart of Philippines, another person to have a heart of Philippines. Yeah, Mr. Jason Bryan. Yes, well done.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you so much.
You have this loved one back home. Say hello. Hello to you, girl. Yes, a very lucky,
Yeah, look,
lucky
big
girl.
shout out to Heidi. Heidi's in Kuwait at the moment, working hard, and as all a lot of Filipino ladies go over there to the Middle East and work really hard to send money back to their family, and we're hoping to unite in the Philippines, hopefully January next
January,
year.
wow.
And I hope to spend probably 2 or 3 months over in the Philippines
Oh my
and just
goodness, that's so
really
cool.
just chilling out and getting to soak in the beautiful country over.
So this is gonna be your first time to go there.
It is, yeah, yeah.
That's so exciting. So what place do you think you can go first?
Well, I'll end up going to Bagal, uh, uh, Tagaro, Tagaro City,
Sorry,
Bagal, so up in the mountains.
where is it?
Bagal,
Bagao.
Bagal,
Baguio. Baguio.
Baguio, yeah,
Yes,
Baguio.
it's a Baguio
It's
city.
Tagaro City, Tagaro City, Tagaro City. Is that how you pronounce it?
To Gigarao City.
Tagagarao City, yeah, Tagagarao.
Gigarao City.
So I'll
Yes.
go to
All right.
Tagagarao and then Baguio. And then also I've got a very good friend over there, Sir Marvin, that I want to catch up in the Philippines, and we hope to
Marvin
to do some
Velasquez.
musical stuff when I go over there together. Yes.
You mean Marvin Velasquez, right?
Yes, that's right.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
and Marvin
Let's shout
Velasquez.
out
Yeah.
to Marvin Velasquez because Marvin Velasquez is the one who introduced you to me. So thank you so much, Marvin Velasquez. I know you're gonna watch this one, and of course, Mr. Rusty Malilin was the one is the is he is the he is the incredible person like I know here in UK that giving this music and he's giving this opportunity for us, to just talk about these musician people around the world. So wow, Marvin Velasquez, Jason now is part of the team. um Lynch, Danny Lynch, has been there. I would like to say hello to Mr. Danny Lynch. He's just been interviewed here last 2 months ago. It was just amazing as well.
Yeah.
And all of these people are incredible. They're an influencer in the world, which is very incredible to know that we have the people like them. They were helping each other, and which I'm very excited. I'm very, very, it's a big pleasure to me, really, to have you through these people and incredible.
Well,
Jason,
thank you.
you
Thank
have
you.
this.
And I mean,
Yes,
if I can just, say something about Sir Marvin, probably the most kindest man with a heart of gold. I absolutely love him and Sir Rusty. They've given me some amazing opportunities, and there's a genuineness there from their heart, and we haven't just become people that enjoy the same thing. We've become really good friends and almost like a musical family. Erasmus Star is like a musical family too. It's fantastic.
exactly. So that's where we start our journey, and since 2021, and doing this virtual show is just really, it's just a number. I think this is our favorite so far. I don't know. I feel like this is like lovely, lovely to know a lot of people like
Yep,
you in Australia, all over the world. Like it's just easy to connect with you guys, and I feel like it's easy for me as well. Like I'm talking with you. It seems like we are very close each other already, which is I I I love about. And this conversation is last forever the rest of our life. I mean,
absolutely,
it is
absolutely, and
it is a legend, and I'm very proud and thank you because you giving me this opportunity to connect with you even if we are far from each other in this incredible vision, in
yeah,
this visual interact with you. So especially to all the people who's watching right now in here, all the way, all over the world, we can it's incredible. Like we will just like that, people are just watching us, and people will know about our life together, or what did you do in your life. And thank you because you're sharing your life all the way through,
yeah,
Jason. And it's the main thing because this is what the passion we all really wanted to share to the people.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, people hear your voice so far, and guys, Jason, he is preparing a lot of songs for us. I don't know if you are ready for that now.
Yeah, would you
Oh,
like me to do another one?
yes, and all the way through, and people were just gonna enjoy dancing or whatsoever, listening to what did this incredible um country music, because country music is all about family. It's all about what the relationship with others. And I love your music because you're talking about parents, and grandmother. Oh, it's crazy. I love it so much. When I hear your songs, I was like, wow, it's really touching my lives as well. And I think if you hear these guys, it will gonna touch your life as well because we've been through a lot of things like this.
Absolutely,
Go ahead,
absolutely.
Jason.
So this next little song I'd like to do for you is a little song called "From My Window." I wrote this at the start of the pandemic, actually, because like many people, I was in lockdown, and during my lunch break, I'd go to the window, and then all of a sudden, I thought, well, there's a song in this. So I put this little song together. Hope you enjoy it. I'm just hoping we get the right volume with these things. The breeze is gently blowing, the old sways moving with the trees. I have a small pot of coffee brewing while I listen to the sound of country. When I look outside, I see the children playing in a distance in perfect harmony. Then they stop and stare, hear my music playing to the sound of your country. From my window, I can see the smiling faces. From my window, I can write what you to be. From my window, I write the songs and you sing. From my window, I write the melody. Springtime gone through, the light that shines on me. Each day goes by with the seasons turn, while I listen to the sound of country. From my window, I can see the smiling face. From my window, I write the dream of me. From my window, I write the songs and blues. From my window, I write the melody. Springtime, the birds and bees are moving through the flowers, the forest, and the trees. Each day goes by with the seasons turn. From my window, that you can see. From my window, see the smiling face. From my window, I find a tune to be. From my window, I write the songs and music. From my window, I hum the melody. From my window, from my window, from my window, Bigalla.
Wow.
That's a little song called From My Window.
That's so beautiful. Like you inspired everything from your window. That's so crazy. That's so lovely, lovely song. So what does this is all about? Can you tell us about it?
Well, it was a song. It was funny. What inspired me? to start writing again was COVID. I'm never far away. I have about 4 guitars in the house, and so usually every room I can pick up a guitar. So I just found that one of the ways that I was able to get through the lockdown period and working from home all the time and being isolated and that sort of thing was to start writing my music and bringing that passion back out. And, so when I started thinking about that in itself, it became a song. So it was everything that I did. But the thing that then what sort of got the melody was the fact that during COVID we went through all the seasons. So that's how the song was sort of in my head, and then the tune just sort of came to me, and this would be one of my favourite songs.
That's so beautiful. I like so much. So, right during the let's talk about this COVID. How did you
Yep.
cope up from the start, and what did you think about from the start on this pandemic?
Look, at the time, I was managing, a family relationship centre, which was a pretty big job, and part of the funding contracts for the government was that it had to be face-to-face service. So
Mm-hmm.
it was huge. We basically went in there, and I think it was the last week in February last year. We were told, hey, all your staff, you've got 20 odd staff, they've all got to go home. There was no computers for them. There was no phones. We had clients that were already booked in. Within a very short amount of time, we had to strategically work out a way for phones and computers and to get them remote access to mainframe systems and all that kind of thing. And then, of course, what happened was that, I found myself feeling really isolated because, when you're so used to having that regular contact with people,
Mm-hmm.
and there was nobody. So, I would just get up in the morning, I'd do my work, I'd be on the computer, and then, you had to sort of pull yourself away because it was so much extra work too. You'd find yourself working 17, 18 hours a day very easily. So you had to pull yourself away. So when I did pull myself away, I thought, well, I've got to pick up the guitar and I've got to do a few things. So then I started sort of reliving my dream of writing music and doing songwriting again.
Mm-hmm. So, what was the first reaction to yourself that you know exactly what's gonna be the next day happen to that? You know that there's in the next day there's nothing at all. You have to just stay at home. What did you feel? How did you manage these things? Because when I was started doing the anxiety and all that, I did that and I experienced this kind of thing. But I cope up after 3 months. You know, after 3 months I cope up because how did you do that yourself?
Um, I think I do. That's where I learned about social media.
Social media,
Prior
yeah.
to
All right.
prior to COVID, I wouldn't have known how to do a lot of things, and all of a sudden I learned things, friendship requests and developing friends and talking to people online and um, realizing people in a similar situation to me, and we reached out and we supported each other through that time.
That's so cool. So, how did you reach out with Marvin Velasquez? How does it start to become like this?
That was the most interesting thing, and this is where I think God had a big piece to do with that because Marvin didn't know me at all, and I didn't know Marvin. Marvin had just happened to come across one of my live shows that I was doing at the time.
Oh, you did a live that time.
I was doing some live shows with a mate of mine. We called it Jason and Scotty's Country Power Hour, and we would do that. We were starting to get a bit of a following, and
Wow, that's cool.
and that was really because two of us were guitarists and musos, and we just wanted to have a bit of fun. And that's how it all sort of started with the live stuff. Like as an entertainer, I'd never done anything online before. It was all in shows, and
Yes,
it take you
exactly. This
4 hours
is
to set
totally
up a
different.
gig, and so this was a very new experience for us. And anyway, I get this. get this message from Sir Marvin saying, "Hey, would you be interested in coming on and being a guest on the Marvin Velasquez Songlist show?" Well, I had no idea who Marvin was, but I contacted him, and yeah, our relationship has been huge in terms of, it's just going from strength to strength. We've developed a very good friendship, and a very supportive friendship as
Mhm.
friends and musicians, and it's been a really good journey.
Yeah, that's so good. That's really good. And so basically for you, what is pandemic for you all about? Until since this till this
Oh, to be honest with you, I don't know. In some sense, I see positives with the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think that it's allowed people to get outside their comfort zone, explore different ways of doing things in their
Yes.
life to
Yes.
create meaning.
Mm-hmm.
In another way, I'm absolutely devastated with the amount of lives and devastation that this virus has caused across the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm very fortunate that I haven't had anyone close who has got COVID yet and has had a horrible experience.
Mm, that's
But
good.
certainly now things are really becoming real. I watch the news. I leave with a tear in my eye because New South Wales at the moment, which is only 10 hours from Queensland, where I live, or 12 hours, um, they're experiencing what Italy and those sort of countries experienced, at the height of their sort of pandemic. And they're getting that now. And of course, it's this Delta strain, and it's scary. It's really scary.
It
I
is
can't
so
imagine what it
scary.
would like to be living in a place where you've just got that much COVID around you and you have no idea who's got it, or, you know, um, who you could possibly pass it on to, your mother or your father or people that are really vulnerable. It's an evil virus. That's how I see it. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
evil thing. I, I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think something like this could have ever been created by a loving God, put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Just the only thing is we're just gonna pray really that everything will be okay, and we are we have to just be careful of going out, and the amount of people that we've been through. And how's the family back home? Do you are they okay? You still have?
Yeah, look, my family's good. Pretty much they don't leave their house. They want to make sure they don't get it. They just don't leave their house, but they're kind of at that age anyway where they never used to leave their house much anyway. So mum and dad's
You
doing
close,
okay through
Trevor.
this.
You close in your house. Your mom and dad.
Mum and dad don't live far away from me, and I see them quite regularly. I'll go there,
Oh.
but no, they're doing really well. Like,
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing for Dad was that when the Country Music Association wasn't playing on a regular Sunday, that was the hardest thing. He couldn't
All
go
right.
and see. He couldn't get his Sunday dose of country music after church.
Mm. So did you play church often?
I play church every Sunday. I still do.
You still do.
It's. I'm so passionate about church. One of my favourite songs is that little song that goes a little something like this. Isn't it terrible when you have a block and you're thinking, I just knew that song and now it's out of my head. Um, it's terrible when that happens.
Yeah, this is what we talked about before.
Yeah, when you have a mental block, it's all in
Yeah,
your head,
we have
and
that.
and you've got so much stuff going on and thinking about what's next, and you forget it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how it is. But it's normal, you know.
yeah.
And then you will remember in a little while anyway, you know.
I just remembered it. Remember this one? Oh Lord, my God,
Oh wow, yeah.
when I in awesome wonder consider all thy universe display, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe display. And sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Whoa, that is how great. What is the
So
title?
yeah, as you can see, the gospel music is very deep into my heart. It's a
It's such
beautiful
a
thing
really
whenever I can
beautiful
share
song.
gospel.
It's Carrie Underwood. Is the one to sing this for ladies,
Yeah, and Sir Elvis Presley was the
and
one
Elvis
of the.
Presley
He had a
as well.
version of it as well. Yeah,
Who is the original of that song?
that's a difficult one. I actually can't remember who the original artists who did it.
Yeah,
I remember first hearing Elvis's version of it on a CD that I probably
it
still got
is
around
just
here
so
somewhere. Yeah,
beautiful song. Just so beautiful
yeah.
song. Um, I Let's talk about the music that Rusty Malilin is the one who give you this wonderful song called um Mother's Rocking Chair.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
absolutely.
right. I was so excited to hear this once again to you today. Let's talk about that. How does it how does it start?
Well, I think it all started initially. I was a guest on Marvin's show,
Mm-hmm.
and then Marvin contacted me again. He said, "Look, I'd really like you to be part of um, the 23rd Independence Day for the Philippines." And I
Mm-hmm.
just went, "Well, like I'm just honoured. I feel privileged." He said, "No, I really want you to be part of that."
Mm-hmm.
So I was part of that, and then after that show, Marvin kind of announced um, that I was one of the new artists for the Erasmus Star, and that they were working on a carryover single to be released, and Sir Rusty was going to write a country song. Well, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I mean, I was just wow, like this is just amazing, to have
Amazing. It's
somebody of Sir Rusty's caliber writing a song, and I suppose entrusting me to be able to bring myself into that song and try and give that song a life. It was just an amazing thing an opportunity that I had, and yeah, so we recently released that probably only a few weeks ago now, and it's been going really really well, and it's been played on the airwaves over here in Australia and through Central Coast Radio and through a couple of other video
wow.
tube things like rabbit video clips and all that. And yeah, I'm so excited for this song because it took me out of my comfort zone. It took me away from my little melodies and my little country melodies to
Mm-hmm.
trying to bring some life into me, I suppose. And it's a song that I absolutely love now. I love playing it. I
Okay.
love singing it.
So
Yeah,
so the so this dynamic and all this who this is actually made from Rusty Malilin, right? Um
absolutely. So
yeah.
it was composed by Sir Rusty Erasmo Mamilian.
Mm-hmm.
and then it was arranged by Richie Ramos in the Philippines.
Wow.
And
I'm so proud of this. I'm very, very proud of
yeah,
this,
he did an
of you,
amazing job.
singing this kind of country music. Can you, ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for this, and I'm one of the persons proudest for this. And Mr. Jason Bryan, all the way from Australia, is the one who's sing this mother's rocking chair. It's just interesting sound, interesting the title of this kind of thing. And I'm so excited to hear this once again to you, ladies and gentlemen. Please give round of applause to our artist all the way from Australia singing this rocking chair that wrote Rasi Malilin. Yes, thank you so much. Jason, can you sing this song for us?
Absolutely. Be my pleasure, Jerry.
Thank you.
Here's a little grandma's rocking chair. And that old rocking chair brings back memories of my rocking chair. Grandma sits in the corner by the fire. And I rocking chair as I play my guitar. I don't have to care. I remember it's time when we were rocking to the rhythm of the rocking chair. Rocking chair. I play my guitar. I don't have to care. I remember it's time. We were rocking to the rhythm of the rocking chair. Rocking chair. Guitar, my mind, body, and soul. Takes home where we sat on the tree and we watched the snow. Rocking chair as I play my guitar. I don't have a care. I remember we were rocking to the rhythm of the rocking rocking chair. As I play my guitar, I don't have a care. I remember we were rocking to the rhythm of the rocking. Let's go! Rock my grandma, rocking chair. I play my guitar. I don't have a care. I remember grandma's chair. We were rocking to the rhythm of the rocking chair. As I rock my grandma, rocking chair. As I play my guitar, I don't have a care. I remember the time when grandma's chair. We were rocking to the rhythm of the rocking chair. Rocking chair. Rocking chair. Rocking chair.
Yay! Well done. What a beautiful music is this. So,
And it is a lovely song.
Yes. So Joel Miranda is one of the Erasmus talents, which, if you know, Joel Miranda is one of
Yes,
the
Joel.
artists.
Yes,
Yeah. Who's watching right now and saying hello, both of you, Jason. So all of I would like to shout out to all the Erasmus talents, which of course Jason is one of them now, and I would just really like to greet all of you and congratulations to Mr. Marvin Velasquez and of course to our master Rusty Malilin who are doing all this music and stuff to all of us, right? And also it's a big privilege for me as well that the last Independence Day I was one of the performer that day, and
yes, yes.
I'm very it's my pleasure. Thank you, sir, and I'm very proud of you all. You know, and here in our visionaries, we are continue talking about what you did in your music and what is the passion you've been what is the passions you have in life, and now you share this to the world. I mean, this is a really big difference, really, to all of us, that you are giving the significance to all of us on hearing your music. You know, Jason, and all of this music that you gave to us, it's really mesmerized us because the songs that you wrote actually is all about families. It's all about the relationship of the families and the people. It's just
Absolutely. Yeah,
so beautiful.
absolutely. Yeah.
Do you still have some songs that you can deliver that to us now that especially right
Absolutely.
now they're
I'd love to
watching?
play. I'd love to play you that song that I talked about, which is probably the hardest song I've ever written, but also one of my favourites, which is "She's My Mother," dedicated to all the
Yes,
mothers out there
please.
in the world.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm just trying to fix this a little bit. It keeps playing up a bit. That's better.
Yeah, you're okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's hear this song from Jason. He is the one who write this for his mom actually. So maybe we can relate all of us.
Thanks, Jerry.
You're welcome.
Here's a little "She's My Mother." Beautiful fiddle playing by Mr. Pixie Jenkins. Who is there to hold you when you fall? Who can lift you up when you're blue? Who will give you comfort when you need it? She's your mother, dear mother stands by you. She's the angel without wings. She's my mother. She's the angel who's there all the time. The angel who gave life and who guided me through strife. My mother, precious angel divine. That she feels when I'm feeling broken. She's always there with me when I'm blue. Like a guiding teacher. She's my mother, dear mother stands by you. She's the angel without wings. She's my mother. She's the angel who is there all the time. The angel who gave life and who guided me through strife. My mother, precious angel divine. Angel without where she's my mother. She's the angel who is there all the time. The angel who gave life and who guided me through strife. My mother, precious angel divine. My mother, precious angel divine.
Whoa, our mother is divine, beautiful. I love that song so much. Now, I just really love that song. I want to sing it myself. Yeah,
You're welcome
I'll,
to.
I will sing it myself if you let me to sing this one day, and I will dedicate this to my mother
Absolutely, you
and
can.
to my grandma.
Yep.
I love them very much. I just love that song so much. Thank you for making this song, by the way. Jason, you have that talent that really needs to resonate to the people around the world. Wow, well done.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you.
Very well done. And Jason, this music that you wrote, actually, it is all. Did you write something else that beyond on this
Well, I wrote one for mum, so I had
music?
to write one for dad. So then I wrote one for dad as well. So I've written one called Fathers.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool. Is it finished already?
Yeah, I'm happy to play that one for you tonight if you'd like
Yes,
to hear that.
please. Can we
Okay,
do
I'll
it?
play
Can
that
we
one
play
as well.
it? Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
happy
go
to.
ahead.
Here's a song called Fathers. Man, I call my father. He's my teacher and my friend. Said things like, if it's not to break, the tree must learn to bend. Metaphors for life, he said, help me understand. Guides for life with them, help me be a better man. Fishing was my faith, baiting hooks and casting line. How to find the best spot, I learning all the time. Time with him was special, 'cause he taught me how to shine. Thanks to him and lessons learned, I'm turning out just fine. Old country songs and movies keep reminding me of you. Stuff we do together in the time will be through. Pictures of you on my wall, I'll be recall the times of camping and of fishing. I get down to your old line. To honor that, now I must pass the message on again. My kids a better chance in life, a better chance to live. When my work is finally done, and all my dues are paid, the reminisce of my old dad, those foundations that he laid. Oh, country songs and movies keep reminding me of you. Stuff we do together in the time we through. Pictures of you on my wall help me recall the time. Camping and a fishing, I can call to your blind. Old country songs and movies keep reminding me of you. Stuff we built together, the time will be through. Pictures of you on my wall help me recall the time of camping and a fishing. I can come to your old land.
Whoa, whoa. That's so cool. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. That's for the dad. Well, that's so lovely. What's this story behind of that music about your
Yeah,
dad?
well, I suppose that growing up as a kid, one of the things Dad always did was he taught me things.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was a teacher, you know. I can remember building a billy cart with him, teaching me how to mow a lawn, teaching me how to ride a horse. So again, it was a bit of a song for him to acknowledge and to recognise all these things that he'd done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about the fishing was, and I've shared this in another show, was it was actually quite a funny episode because we had been so excited we were going camping and fishing for the first time, and so I begged and begged Dad to take his dog with me. And so I had this Labrador dog anyway. The dog was getting in amongst everything. Dad said, for goodness sake, tie that dog up. So I've tied the dog up in the middle of the night. Of course, all these fishermen up the river. The dog's decided to go for a swim with the chain and the chair, tangled everyone's line up. We've had this bunch of angry fishermen coming, and Dad said, right, quick, let's just get in the car. We're out of here. We're going. And we took
That's
off
so.
home. But
So that's
it was a memory that,
yeah. That's a really good
again, you know,
memory.
memories. When I try and write a song, it's about trying to bring those memories to life and try and be authentic about it, you know, and also try and develop a lyric that is going to connect with other people as well, because
Mm-hmm.
um, so the song Fathers was really just about what the role of a father is like, you know. Not just my father, but there are lots of fathers that teach their children what to do and how to build billy carts and how to fish and show them where their best spots are. And that's how a father kind of engages and is part of their child's life. So it was just a feel good dedication song to all fathers out there.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. so interesting for everyone's have a dad like you,
Mm,
and you're so lucky. You're very, very lucky to all of you who have a dads that when you're born, you straight away can see your dad and thought of you and things like that.
absolutely,
And
absolutely. We're blessed every day that you know. My parents, even though they had difficult times in life, they stuck it through, and 65 years later, they're married. Still. So I think
wow,
they had their
that's so
65th
really
wedding
good.
anniversary. Yeah, it's crazy.
And talking about parenting, you are married already, don't you?
I
For
was married. I was married. Unfortunately, that didn't sort of get planned. But out of that marriage came two beautiful boys.
mm-hmm.
My sons Timothy and Isaac. He's now 16, Tim, and Isaac's 12, going on 13.
Wow.
And absolute joy of my life. They keep me grounded. They keep me young.
Yeah,
Um,
that's so good. So
and
what
uh,
is
and we just have a fantastic relationship with each other.
that's the really most important thing,
Yeah.
a relationships like that. And okay, so what is your dream about? What is your dream for your two kids?
Oh, look, I think my dream for them is that I just want them to find their happy place in life.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they decide to do, I just want them to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I think in today's world there are so many expectations placed on youth and young children to be a certain person or to be a certain model in life, and that's a lot of pressure for any young person. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but my philosophy is, well, you just find what you're happy to do, and I'll support it. And my youngest son Tim, through a lot of hard work and through school, he got his first apprenticeship, so he's actually learning to be a carpenter at the moment. So he's
Mm-hmm.
an apprentice carpenter, signed his apprenticeship about a month ago, and I couldn't be prouder. And Isaac, well, he's totally different again. I think that if he had his way, he'd be a computer programmer or a games, one of those people that test out the new computer games to see whether the kids will play them or not.
Mm-hmm.
He's very introverted, and um, he's a whiz kid when it comes to operating multiple keyboards, mouses, Minecraft. He can do it all, with two hands going at once. I'm like, wow, that's just amazing. How do you do
They're
that?
really good at this, actually.
Yeah.
They're really good at this. So how do you thought about your kids in some sort of um a good thing for their lives?
Yeah, I have. Look, I think for me, well, there's a couple of factors. I think their parents have got to be happy as well. Happy parents make happy kids.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that some people go into relationships and they go into it with their eyes half closed a little bit. They're not thinking about things like, well, what if you were to fall pregnant? What sort of, how would you parent your children? What are your values? What are your belief systems? They don't have those conversations often, and I think that when you actually find out that you were so different in a relationship, particularly when you're bonded by kids,
Mm-hmm.
it creates a lot of conflict in relationships. And I've seen it so many times where it just tears families apart.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, what do I want for my kids? I'd love them to be able to find a woman or a man, whatever they want, and just to be able to um, have a strong connection with them and a love and be like, all I can ever ask for is they're like my mum and dad who have had this beautiful marriage for so many, even though you go through tough times, you've got someone that's prepared to work through things with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I was to ask for one thing for them, that they find someone that they love and they connect with. And they have a beautiful family.
That's very proud of. Really,
Yeah.
really proud of you. Of having a kids like that. So when they are still kids, when they're still little, um, how how do you how do you discipline them? Did you Are you strict parents? Are you being very strict father?
I've learnt to change my parenting style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that I was a bit old school. I was a little bit. I would discipline them quite harshly when they were growing up, when they were young. And what I
Really?
learned from that was that really it worked, but it instilled fear in them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they did something wrong, they would never come and tell you. Where what I did now is I've developed a relationship where really I just talk about, what were they thinking when they did that? Would have they done something any different? Is there anything more that they need me to know to help me understand why they did that? How can I support them? Um, you know, and try to get them to think of things like, well, there are consequences, and
Mm-hmm.
they might have gone to reboot, which is like a detention at school and all that for doing certain things. But it's more about, have you learned from that? What have you learned from that? So I suppose what I'm trying to do is take more of a teaching kind of role, and not that real hard line where I want the kids to be able to come to me. I think that if you can develop a relationship where your children feel comfortable to be able to talk about anything, whether they're struggling with alcohol or drugs or relationships or anything like that, um, and they feel comfortable to reach out to you, then you've got more of an opportunity when they need you to be able to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's more of
So,
a trust there.
mm-hmm. So how do you talk to them in terms of a case like this? Did
Well,
how did you start to talk about this?
how did I change? I mean, I've got a master's in counselling, a
Oh yeah,
master's
that
degree in
sounds.
counselling, and I've also been in the human services sector for over 20 years. So I'm a kids counsellor, I'm a relationship counsellor, I'm a marriage counsellor, I'm a family court mediator, and a child
Mm,
consultant, and I used to manage the services. So what I try and do is basically live the values that I do at work and bring them
mm,
into home. So, it's no point telling or educating parents a particular way how to teach their children, and how to respond to certain behaviours if you don't do that yourself.
no, exactly. So what can you tell the people who are the parents who, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not a lot of parents perfect, right? So there's a parents that also mistaken a lot, and there's the parents that are also trying to work out themselves how to manage their kids to discipline them. So what can you tell them, to those parents who cannot discipline their kids?
I think the most important thing I could say to the parents out there that are struggling with disciplining their children is to, um, if you really want to be able to break a pattern, you've got to get to know your kids. You've got to know them. Um, don't just make assumptions why they're in trouble or what's actually happening, because there could be a lot more to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I could go into a whole lot of things. I could talk about the neuroscience, the biopsychology of things, and teenagers, for instance, you know, even why they're trying to create their identity and they're trying to become young adults. They've actually got the brain sort of capacity of about a 4.5-year-old or a 5-year-old, because they're going through a pruning process with their neurons and all that sort of thing. But there are reasons why. I think sometimes what happens is that sometimes parents need to also look at themselves and go, well, why am I reacting so badly to that?
Mm-hmm.
Where's my cup at the moment? Like we all have an emotional cup. Do you understand what I mean by that? So we all have a load to carry in life, and
Mm-hmm.
it's knowing where your cup is. So if you're at the absolute threshold, then it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're responding to a child that you know, why didn't you put your bag away? And you throw in the bag. They're like, well, what just happened? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what am I even in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
You need to take the time to explain what the behaviour is, and also talk about what your expectations are. So next time, this is what I'd like you to be able to do. Can you
Mm-hmm.
do that? Can you? You're trying to contract with the child.
Mm-hmm. You have to communicate them well and understand as well to learn what the behavior he's showing or she's showing to you, and then you
Absolutely.
correct it. You correct it by not shouting them. Of course, you have to just talk nicely. And how can did you experience shouting your kids?
Look, I experienced that growing up as a child too, and I suppose I did like a lot of kids did back in the 70s and said, well, I'm not going to be that kind of parent. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I did become that parent for the first, you know, 11 years of their parenting life because, as you're saying, Jerry, you've also got to have a little bit of self-compassion because nobody wrote a book on how to be a good parent.
Mm-hmm.
And every child is so unique and in the way that they behave and in the way that they are with you,
Mm-hmm.
and look, some children some children just respond differently. What I do know is that yelling and doing all those things is um, it's not kind of creating. It won't create much change. All it will create is a household where people yell at each other.
Mm-hmm. So what can you say about the parents who's yelling all the time for kids? What can you say and advice to these parents?
Um, Again, I think it's about trying to find strategies to be able to deal with that. So when you feel like you're about to explode, what can you do differently? Can you
Mm-hmm.
walk away? Box breathing's really good. Breathing in, holding it for 4 seconds, breathing out 4 seconds. And what that does also, it decreases the level of cortisol that's going into your body.
Mm-hmm.
By decreasing the level of cortisol, of course, then what you're doing also is you're allowing the blood to flow a little bit more better
Mm-hmm.
to the cortex, which is where we want to be if we're going to make good decisions. We want our blood to be flowing to the cortex, not into what they call the limbic system. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, guys, this is the main thing that we would really like to address in this kind of interview, because I can see a lot of parents that really struggling to the kids.
Yes.
And where I can see, especially in this kind of situation this time, it's a lot of stress, and some of the parents really don't know what to do, and they think that, oh my goodness, I will shout whatever I want for my kids, but the kids really don't understand what are you shouting about.
Yes.
Now, as
Or the
Jason
other
said.
thing that happens, Jerry, is that when parents shout at their children, it's like anything. You get shocked, so you go into fight or flight or freeze. So
Mm-hmm.
you either freeze and you do something really stupid, like and respond like you would in terms of survival,
Mm-hmm.
or the other thing you do is um, you basically shut down. As a child, you shut down, and as a way of protecting yourself. Now, the concern that does over a period of time in terms of the what they call the developmental forecast for a child is that if that's the kind of constant response they're having to those people that love and nurturing, they're the people that are attached and they're their loving mum and dad, they see that as normal, and they take that onto their relationships,
True.
and it becomes a cycle, and so it never really breaks.
Never.
Um, no,
No. So, to all the parents out there, we here to just tell, just just give an advice, that when you have a parents, it's very difficult, and I know it's very difficult. And why we're talking about this, because we want to help some of the parents that really don't know. Not all of the parents really do the same kind of thing like this, but some of the parents, they don't know because they feel stressed, and they don't realize what they've done in their life for their kids. But then
absolutely.
they you have to go back yourself and talk to yourself and evaluate that this kind of behavior really affects to all your kids. And until, as what Jason says, that it's genetics gonna never change, it will never change. If you're never gonna change as a mom, as a dad, then you will never get a chance to change your kids, because you cannot change your kids at the age of 18 years old. They have their own lives already. I mean, they they are really can't adopt these changes anymore. When you are still kid and you still have little, then it is your chance to make a good things for your kids. Now, in this shouting stuff and yelling and this, it's never helped,
Yeah,
guys. Never. Well, in fact, what you cannot just do really for me, you just talk to your kids nicely, because they have a brain, they understand what you said, not just like shouting, and it's traumatic experience for them. And they were just really scared of you. Instead of respecting you, they're scared of you, and they don't respect you, by the way, at the end of the day. Like, why are you shouting me? Why I don't have value in you? But they feel like that way, and they feel depressed about that. And it's not really helps to kids, and it's not also helps to you, because it creates really trouble themselves, both of you. And it's just
and
something
you
like,
want and at some point, like I was saying, if all you're doing is shouting at the children and you're not hearing them, not listening to them, or you're not trying to correct that yourself, how do you build a relationship with your child to be able to carry that through to when they're an adult? Because when they're an adult, are they going to want someone that shouts at them, or are they going to want someone that can sit down and say to them, hey, remember when we did this, or you're talking about this, or. So,
mm-hmm,
what I would encourage parents to think about is, and I'm not trying to guilt parents here, because I'm guilty of yelling and shouting as well. But what I can say is I honestly believe that yelling and shouting doesn't. That really a more consistent approach where you're allowing children to be part of a conversation is it works a lot better, depending on the age of the child, of course, too.
mm-hmm,
But when your kids are 21 and they're looking back at this time in their life, what
mm-hmm.
kind of memories do you want them to be thinking about
Yes.
how their mum and dad managed their behaviour?
Mm-hmm.
Because if all they've got is memories where all they felt was yelled and shouted at, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, that won't be really good for them in terms of their mental health and how
No.
they're coping with that, even as an adult.
Exactly. Mm-mm. And they will always remember that, oh, my dad always called me, oh, my dad always shouting at me, oh my goodness, my dad's never loved me, never. And they thought about, they never, my dad's never give me um a time to give love back to him, or because obviously this is the dad, obviously this is a mom. And then if you showing this all the time, they have a hard time to find where is love.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So if the dad's really tough about that, and they don't realize and back up themselves and say, oh, what my child thinks about me when I did that.
Yeah.
So
It
at
is
the end.
exactly what you're saying, Jerry. I think really it's about inner reflection. It's about thinking about, is this also the person that I want to be? Do I want to be someone that is just angry at my children, or do I want to have something different with
Yeah, because
them?
exactly. So as a dad and as a parent, you have to, as I can tell, is you have to evaluate yourself as a parent, because
Yeah,
otherwise you have another person that looking up to you of what you try to give them when they're growing, because whatever you put the seeds now, that's what they harvest.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
so
there's so much research now supported by a lot of neuropsychotherapists at the moment that talk about the first 1,000 days of a child's life being the most prevalent, the most important. That first 4 years of a child's life, in terms of that there's no trauma, that there is really a healthy attachment style, and in a way that parents attach to their children, and the child actually feels loved and nurtured, and those needs are met. And if that happens in the first 1,000 days, they can actually now, through a Genio type system, actually, if they can actually work out exactly what that child, what sort of career they might have, how much money they're going to be earning, and all that around about the age of 33, because they know that the first 1,000 days is the most important in any human's life at the moment.
mhm. Do you believe that the attitude of the child comes from school?
No, no, not
No.
not personally. No, I think what school does, it reinforces boundaries, it reinforces rules, and how we're expected to be in society as we become an adult.
Hmm.
If you think about some of the subjects that they're teaching now, where you don't even use them in actual life, you know.
Life. Mhm.
Um, but still very much so. It's not necessarily about the subject, it's about how they kind of apply themselves to
Mhm.
something that's challenging or difficult in life. So I think what happens is school's a really good place to learn some life skills around how they apply themselves, even
Mhm.
when they don't like subjects, even when they don't like teachers, because they've got to carry through their work life and as an adult as well.
Mhm.
I think that a lot of the learning is done again, and there's a lot of research that talks about this too, Jerry, that the first child is always going to be smarter, more resilient in terms of the resiliency scale, and that's because mum and dad's had more time with them. They've had at least 1,000 words a day spoken to them from a young age. By the time the first child's kind of taking on a bit of a caretaker role, and not as much language is being spoken. So as the more you go down that line, by the time you get to the fifth or the sixth child, pretty much they've been raised by their siblings and they haven't had that interaction with their parent.
Mhm.
Um, so they can even talk about where they're going to be less resilient. They're probably developmentally they're going to be this on the scale towards mental health or anxiety, depression, those
Yes.
kind of things. Um, Yeah, and it's just based around the language that they learn the first four
Mhm.
years. So that's why I probably think that school it, I believe it gives good, strong values in terms of applying yourself, and teaches you to be the person you need to be in the real world.
Mhm.
Um, but obviously, I'm a very strong believer that the first 1,000 days or the first 4 years of a child's life is absolutely prevalent to where they'll be by the time they're an adult.
Yeah, and also, it is comes from the family, how you brought them up until they
Yes.
become the person who they will really want to become in life. Like you have a good parents that they're married for 65 years or more. They become really good parents on you, which you saw that in your whole entire life. So as a son, you can tell yourself that how I wish I can become like this, my dad and my mom, that they have this relationship very, although it was a lot of experience that really bad or hard for them to, for you to grow up and bring you up until this
Yes.
time. But
I
you
think, though,
know,
Jerry, you quickly learn, though, that relationships is very much a two-way thing. You may want that, but the other person may not. So I think
yes,
mum and dad were very blessed that they both wanted the same goal, and that's to just be together forever, you know?
yeah, exactly. But there's a parents as well that it's not of there's a lot of parents as well that they divorce each other, and it kind of like affected how it affected to the kids as well as lives. So it's something like you just manage yourself how to grow up in a nice way of living,
Yes,
and and to pursue your career. And there's a lot of kids really, um sometimes there's a lot of kids really giving have a hard time for themselves to cope up. But in the end, at the end of the day, you're the one who find your own personality and
absolutely.
how you deal with everything in this life. So I think I'm just gonna tell, and what can you say about also um those parents who this um no, 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 it's already out of my mind now. These parents who has doesn't have the capability to tell because they scared now. They really how difficult to manage or to tell their kids that this is what exactly they do, because these kids is already out of their mind already. They have their own minds already. So, and these parents now is very difficult for them to um to tell for their
Yeah,
kids.
look, I think again, it's about self-compassion. You know, they've got to be self-compassion. Don't be hard on themselves as parents. Change is something that you take in very small steps,
Hmm.
particularly, if you're really struggling with the whole idea of changing. I would say that what works really well is to work on one behaviour at a time with the child.
Hmm.
So at least what you're doing then is, if you are yelling at them, you're yelling them at one behaviour. They're not copying it from all directions with everything that they do wrong. So, you might sit your child down. You might say, look, um, you know, once you, at least that way, at least there's a little bit of, what's this word I'm trying to think of? The child's not feeling like they're constantly a target
Hmm.
where the parent's yelling constantly at them if they're trying to work on 12 behaviours. You're working on the one behaviour. The one behaviour might be, okay, when you come home, I don't want you to leave your bag. Just drop it at the door when you come in. You need to put it away. Your lunchbox goes in, and you put your bag in. And you just work on that one behaviour. And you learn to change the one behaviour. And it's being patient as well. Um, a lot of parents probably don't realise this, but neuroscience says that it takes 63 times of doing the same thing over and over again for that to change the way that we do things. Because remember, each time we've gone and thrown the bag down, it's developed a memory system in the way that we do things. They call this thing a neurological groove.
Hmm.
And it comes down to a theory called Hebron's theory, which is neurons that fire together wire together. So what happens is that the behaviour is constant because it's ingrained, it's embedded, it's not going anywhere. So you've got to try and develop this new behaviour. Now, the only way that that's going to happen, and I suppose it's also about thinking about what works in terms of children respond really well to different kinds of reward systems. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about money or anything like that. It could just be, well, if you do this, we're going to go down the park and we're going to kick a ball around for a while. So it's about, if I do this correctly, then I'm ultimately rewarded by this happening. And that happens in life too. Incentive-based rewards in life happen all the time. So you're not teaching them anything they're not going to get as they grow up or go into being as adults.
It's very difficult being a parent, but we get on with it, and now you become a really good parent. I mean, you had these two kids, very beautiful and handsome,
I
and
think for me it was a turning point for me. Was when my son was going completely off the rails. And even knowing all this theory and all this stuff that I've studied and gone through, I had no idea how to manage him. So what I needed to do then was just take a step back, and I just needed to know who was this little boy that I was trying to connect with, and who I really needed him to understand how I was feeling right now. He needed to know that he was loved no matter what, but there were some things we had to work on. And for that to happen, there's got to be a real trusting relationship. So I had to back right off with the whole, and I had to really be curious, and I had to really spend time in building that, like any relationship. I just had to spend a lot of time checking in. Hey, how you going? What was school like? Tell me about that.
That's nice.
He'd say, oh, well, Dad, I've had a crap day. Okay, well, let's grab the basketball. Let's go down the basketball. Let's shoot a few hoops. Maybe you might feel like talking about it. We'd get down there and, you'd be shooting hoops, and all of a sudden he'd break down crying, and you'd have a conversation with him. So, kids don't know how to manage life. They need their mum and dad there to help support them through those difficult times.
So, do you think that conversation is really very important between you and your son?
I think that was a turning point. He needed to know that no matter what, my love for him was never going to be any different. I may have been disappointed. I may have felt like, hey, mate, I don't understand why you've done this. I'm a bit disappointed about that. But ultimately, I still love you and I respect you, and I want to be able to support you the best way I can.
So in general, as a parent, you need to talk and have that conversation at least in some point, in every day you do that conversation, or not even every day. Sometimes in a week you have to have that thorough conversation to just be open each other, to grow more relationship between you and your son.
Yeah, and look, for younger children, that's not that easy. For younger children, it might be that, hey, if they're sitting down there and they're building a Lego castle, or they're playing cars, or they're doing something, you're just sitting on the ground with them. You're doing that. Or if they're drawing a picture, you just start drawing a picture with them. It's not necessarily about words neither. It's just that connection.
How do you find out if your son have a secret that did you feel that? Do you feel the energy that you have something? Maybe your son has problems and he's just agitated to tell you exactly what is the problems on his behalf. Did you feel something like this, or how
I
can
think
you?
a parent's quite intuitive when it comes to when they're having a conversation with their child. If they go a bit quiet, or their eye, they might look the other way with their eyes, or certain things that they're doing is just not adding up. Hey, there's something more here, mate. Come on, what's going on?
Yeah,
yeah.
So that's really good. So in reality, really is all about conversation. It's all about opening each other and respect each other,
Engagement. Just engaging
engagements
with
of
the
them.
children, no matter what age they are. It's all about engagement, and because and it's all about knowing where your child's at. And, they've done some amazing research. And I'll say this with fathers, because over here in Newcastle, in New South Wales, there's a gentleman by the name of Richard Fletcher who's doing some amazing work with fathers around teaching fathers how to engage with their children, young babies. Because what often happens is that, they'll be building a block together, and all of a sudden, that'll be fine. But a child's level of being able to engage is a lot less than an adult. So, you might get 3 minutes out of a child if you're lucky before they're walking away. But it's interesting because they video this, and they still see dad building the big castle, and the child's already, he's left, he's over there, he's pulling a book apart or whatever. He's completely left this exercise, but dad's right into it, and the child's on his way doing his own thing. So they lost that complete engagement. They really didn't know each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for you as a dad, what do you have any expectation from your kids in some sort of exciting for you?
The expectation I have really is that I want them to be good human beings. I want them to have integrity. I want them to have honesty. I want them to be respectful. I want them to show respect for people that are older than them. I want them to have these values that I feel are important in today's life, and will also help support them as they go through. Have they got those things? Some days I think they have. Some days I think, wow, we need to start right back at the start again. But,
I don't know, Jason. Yeah, go ahead.
You can only do what you can do. You can't do anything more than what you can do. But at the end of the day, you want your kids to be happy. You want them to be respectful, and you want them to be good human beings. You want them to have really good morals, be good human beings.
Right. I don't know if they hear us, but this video is going to be last forever the rest of our life, and then they can still see this.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a words for them that really comes from you that they didn't hear that yet?
Well, yeah, I have. If I was to say something about my two boys, I'd just like to thank them. I'd like to thank them for coming into this world and making my world a joy. Hasn't always been easy, but we've got through things together, and we've worked really hard to be strong as father and sons, and that's them putting a lot of effort in too. So yeah, I just want to thank them. I love them so much. They are my world. They know that. They know the funny thing was my oldest boy yesterday. He's 16, going on 17. He says to me, "Oh, Dad, I'm heading up to hospital with Mum. I've broken my ankle, or I've twisted my ankle." And I said, "Oh." And of course, I was really worried about him. And I said to him, "So do you need me to come up, mate?" I said, "Would you come up, would you?" I said, "Yeah, if you need me." I said, "Do you need your dad, mate?" "Oh, I might." "Can I ring you if I do?" "Oh, yeah, okay, well." And then he rings me, "Oh, no, I'll be right." So it's I don't know, it's every day is a new learning experience to be a parent, and every day is a challenge, and every day is exciting and wonderful to be a parent. And you're only a parent for a short time. Even though you're a parent for a long time, you're only a parent in a child's life for a very small time. So I just want to embrace every opportunity I have to be the best dad I can be uh, until they're able to be fathers and that themselves. Yeah.
Are you excited? Are you gonna be excited of being a granddad one day?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I won't be too young. That's not in the plan.
We're gonna go there, we're gonna get that point there. But this is the most exciting thing as well, that you can see your grandson, you know. And are you wishing for that very soon, or
No, give me another 10 years, Jerry.
10 years?
Yeah.
Give me another 10 years. um you are a legend in the family. And what do you think you can leave legacy to your kids?
Well, I just hope the way that I live my life, and they can see how I live my life with integrity and honesty, respect, and love, and love for my brothers and sisters, and I mean anybody. You get it. You get out of this world what you give,
Mm-hmm.
and the more you give, I find the more you get, and that's really the biggest lesson. Is don't be a taker, be a giver, be a receiver with humbleness and gratitude. And Jesus talked about it in the Bible when he sent 72 people out there. Even to the point that he said, go into their homes and be humble. And some of that food that they were going to have was going to, but Jesus said, no, you've got to be humble. And that was the message from the Lord Himself. So if I can teach my kids to live, you know, within the same kind of um, humbleness and the same kind of kindness that it is to be a Christian, I'll be absolutely amazed. I'll be wrapped.
That's beautiful. Do you have a songs for them?
Do I have a song?
Do you have a songs for your kids?
I haven't written any yet. No,
And
no,
that
because
is your
the kind of
project, you
song they
said.
want is not a country song. They like the rap songs, or so they're not into this kind of music. You don't hear them singing it. But I think if I could come up with a rap song or something like that, they'd love it. But yeah, I'd have to really work on it.
Yeah, definitely. That's gonna be the next project, and you're gonna come back to the Visionary 101 to just have that song to
Have
share
that
that
song
to
for
the
the
world,
yeah with
don't
the
you?
kids.
Just for the
Absolutely, yeah.
kids. Right. So, wow, it was a long, long conversation between me and you about the life behind on you. And Jason, it's just really, you are legend. You are the inspiration to the world. I mean,
Thank you, Jerry.
not
Thank you.
a lot of people can wrote like what you did. I mean, 30 songs more. It is amazing. It's an incredible um, talents that you gave to the world. I mean, thanks to your dad and mom that they brought you as you're a very respectful person, and with this integrity that you give this as as being a legend to your family. It is very good, and it's very inspiring to others as well, that not a lot of musicians are doing such a really good um moral like what you do, because some others are have a good moral from parents, but at the end of the day they're lost. They're just doing bad things for themselves, because you cannot blame them. There's problems behind that. But you have this, your mindsets is just incredible.
Thank
Until
you.
such this time of pandemic, that you, instead of prosper yourself, of dealing with this and continue and doing the good things to others, it's not just only for yourself, but this is for the world. I mean, I'm very proud of you, and I know that your family very very proud of you too. That they can watch you doing this kind of interview, and also they hear about your words, about what's the inside of your heart for them, and not just only from your family, of course, the people who's watching right now, all over the world. There's the social media is incredible to all of us that we can we can share our talents and from
And
within the heart.
it's an amazing way to connect to people, and such a broad audience across the world. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it really, it's just incredible tool.
Yeah, because you thought before, you thought it just, oh, I'm just going to sing in the pub. I'm going to sing in our community, and but then now you're sharing a lot. You're sharing a lot of people in front of you. I mean, this is amazing, isn't it? So, um, continue doing that, Jason, because you inspired me. You inspired a lot of people watching and in the world. You give a difference, and also that advice that you give to us, the parents, especially, because today it's all about parents that we are trying to give advice to those struggling parents out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any words, in general? I mean, of everything
Do I have
about us.
worries? I think we all have worries. Look, uh, at the end of the day, I think we all have worries. I try and put things just into perspective and say that if if I am who I am, and that's a Christian man, well, then faith will get me through whatever, and that's how I see it. So it's always been a really good way to be. Takes a lot of pressure off yourself then,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's how probably for the last 20 years I've kind of lived my life. Said, well, if it's meant to be, that's what's got to happen. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, look, I'm human like everyone else. Nobody has the fairy tale stuff that's happening in their life. There's always bits and pieces like, bills, there's things that pop up. Everyone struggles for the day to day life. COVID's a struggle. Um, you know, but at the end of the day, you manage things the best way you can. And yeah, I've been very fortunate enough, I think, in the last 6 months to meet people like yourself and meet Marv and Sir Rusty and Danny, where we've all been sharing similar stories and going through the same thing. And so it's been a tremendous way of being able to not only connect but also to download.
Mm-hmm.
We all have worries, but if you've got someone there that you feel comfortable to download with, it really helps.
Mm-hmm. What inspired you this time
What
in your career?
inspired me?
What inspired you in your career this time?
I think the biggest thing that inspires me at the moment is generally people, the way people are responding to the music,
Mm-hmm.
and the feedback that I'm getting. Um, it brings confidence to you as an artist because you're hearing, wow, we love your song, we love the lyrics, we love these things. Well,
Mm-hmm.
um, most songwriters write songs because they want to make people happy, and
That's
and
beautiful.
and so that's um, the ultimate reward anyone can get if you're a songwriter is to have feedback from people saying, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed that song, I love that lyric, and I love that way that you put that lead piece or that bridge or that motive in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or even the encouraging stuff. Yeah, you're really developing as a songwriter. I'm watching your progress through, and I'm seeing what you're doing. So I think everybody in life needs a bit of acknowledgement, a little bit of a pat on the back, and I think as a
Mm-hmm.
songwriter, you get that through people who are generally excited and feeling happy about the music putting out there.
Mm. You really deserve, Jason, you deserve so much of appreciation because of all the things from when you were still little until this time. And doing this music of yours, this is your passion, until this time, you deserve a lot this appreciation now that nowadays that you come out in the world. This is the starting point of yours of becoming the real you to the world. I mean, this is just really amazing if you're not going to come out there and just hiding yourself into where you are and just listening your own music. I think this is the right time that people really give you back to that appreciation that you really deserve to, to yourself. Then for all these years that you've been doing all these songs, writing these songs, and you are right. He said you have the patience. Now today, this is just an amazing day that you can explore and be more motivated yourself to do a lot more things in terms of music and writing your songs. And we're looking forward for that because I myself just look and have the eye on you, and you going up to the top, and I know you can get there. And this is just the turning point of where you're gonna start going up, up and up and up, and never gonna go down anymore. I mean, this is it. Your name is already on the sky. Jason Brian Regala. So yes, of course I'm very, 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 it's a big pleasure to me really to talk to you. Even I know that this is uh you are very, I can't imagine you're so far. It's from Australia and I'm in UK.
Yeah,
I mean, through connection in the Filipino people. I mean, in the Philippines, by Marvin Velasquez, and of course our master Rusty Malilin, and all of us, Joe Miranda here, all of the artists here in UK connected and collaborated with you guys in Australia. It is just incredible. And
yeah,
I hope that one day we're gonna collaborate each other for the next event. We're gonna come out for the next few months maybe on the events here in UK, and we will invite you there to sing and to just resonate all the rest of the people here in United Kingdom as well. And it is just really lovely to hear country music again, which they thought that it's not just always pop all the time, but they have to realize that country music coming up again in this way, that especially these kids right now, they like very noisy one, very noisy,
yeah,
and they don't realize that making this kind of music is really incredible lyrics, and the story behind that is just move mountain for each of the people who's listening to it. So, um, do you have any exciting moment,
do I have any?
or what are we gonna expect to you very soon? Do you have any expectation from you?
Do I have an expectation from me?
No, I mean, do we do we have anything expectation from you to making more music very
Oh,
soon?
absolutely. I plan on. I put together a little tune called White Lines, which um,
Yeah.
I wrote a few weeks ago, and another one called Take Me Home. And I plan to go in the studio and release those as my next two singles. I also want to collaborate with Marvin on a gospel song that I've written called Blessed Sunday, and um, obviously the other thing that I'm next, I think it's next Saturday. I think it's 7 p.m. Australian time. I'm guesting on the Super Sound Radio with Murray
Mhm.
McIntosh in the UK and Scotland. So quite
Wow.
excited about that as well. The other plan is obviously that I'm trying to get a digital shop together
Mm-hmm.
so that all my MP3s people can actually just connect on Buy Now, and it will just upload it straight away to them
Mm-hmm.
through PayPal. So that's a thing that I'm working on at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so all of us waiting for the next event that you're gonna do, because we are on ITU now, and
Yep.
people are just expecting some more. And I hope that you can come out all the time and sing your song. It is just incredible in the social media, wherever. We would really like to hear you again. So do you still have some more songs
Yeah, I
to
could I
yeah,
could do some more for you. Yeah,
before we
I've
end
just got
up
to
our show?
fire up the computer again. That's all. So this little song that I'm going to sing, it's called "Beautiful Australia." It's actually written about Australia.
Wow. So here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear this song from Jason Bryant.
Get in my car and I travel from track to track. I don't know where I'm going or where I'm at. This great southern land can be hard to map when you drive it down an unnamed track. Beautiful Australia, country of mine. Your beauty surrounds you along your coastline. Mountains and valleys, deserts sublime. You tell a story till the end of time. Billaroo to Kakadu, daylight to dawn. Open highway, inland country road. Your everlasting beauty takes my breath away. Each time I find a place to lay my room. Beautiful Australia, country of mine. Your beauty surrounds you along your coastline. Mountains and valleys, deserts sublime. You tell a story till the end of time. You tell a story, country of mine. Beauty surrounds you along your coastline. Mountains and valleys, deserts sublime. You tell a story till the end of time. You tell a story till the end of time.
Yay! Wow. So what is this music all about Australia? It's very interesting. What is the best in Australia?
Yeah, Australia's a beautiful town. This song was actually written because as young children, my dad used to take us on a lot of family trips, and a lot of times he would think he was going to take a shortcut, go down a dirt road. They were often unnamed. We'd get lost, but along the way we'd find the most amazing places. Even though we were lost, we found our way out eventually. But that's what used to happen, and so this song was sort of about that, and then I just started reflecting on um, the traditional owners of the land, the Aboriginal people, and what their experience is. And of course, Illaroo to Kakadu is all around those beautiful landmarks that our First Nations people, the Aboriginal people, had named and had lived in history. So yeah, that's how the song came together.
That's beautiful. What is the interesting place in Australia that we would like to come there and see?
Well, I live on the Sunshine Coast, and I kind of think we're in God's country. I call it God's country because obviously I'm very spoiled. I have the beaches, I have the mountains behind me, and the range that I jump on the
Really?
motorbike and head up in the mountains. And the beaches are 25 minutes away, some of the most beautiful beaches in Australia. And of course, then you've got mountain views that you can see, beaches, rivers.
Wow.
Every aspect tells a story. So.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's I feel like this place here. If you're going to come to Australia, come to the Sunshine Coast.
Wow, I will definitely come there and find you there, Jason.
Yeah.
It is just really interesting, Australia. So tell us about what is the incredible people in the Australia. What is the best? What is the best? Um, what is the best in there?
I think some of the thing about Australia is, I mean, we're an incredible multicultural country. You know, there are a lot of different cultures, and combined with so Australian culture's shifted. You know, obviously, you know, as you know, the story, we all started off like convicts. That's how Australia started. You know, not the original people, because the original people were always the Aboriginal, you know, people. They've been here for thousand years. I think up to 5,000 years. But you know, obviously when they needed to find a place, and they went to Van Diemen's Land, which was Tasmania, and brought the convicts there. We're all convicts initially, but over the years, obviously Australia's become a very popular place, and it's drawn a lot of different cultures to this country, and I think that's what makes it great, is that we have such a multicultural country. We have such a variety of cultures and food, and it's just, yeah, it's just fantastic
What
when
is your national food in Australia?
oh, national food. Look, people would argue that it's the meat pie and tomato sauce, and they might
Meat
argue it's a
pie.
lamington or a lamb, a lamb chop.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, the potato bake.
That's so good. That's so lovely. That's so lovely food. Okay, so I think that's what we this all pretty much we are talking about everything in about your life and about about the we have a lot of things to talk about anyway, but thank you very much. I took a lot of times on you, but this is exactly the spotlight for you today. That talking about your music, especially your life, giving this parenting to your kids, and giving the advice to all of us here, to all the listeners out there. And what can you the last words that you can tell to the world, what is it?
Love each other. Love each other. You know,
Mhm.
let's celebrate differences. Let's embrace different cultures. Let's celebrate difference. Let's unite the world, and let's just be loving brothers and sisters. Let's not find reasons not to like each other. Yeah.
Mhm. Wow, that's the words. That's the words. Love each other. That's so beautiful. Um, do you have something to tell your music before we go, or do you have something?
I would, I would, I'd love to just thank everybody, all the viewers out there that have obviously spent the last 2.5 hours um, uh, giving giving me time to be able to talk about my music, my life, my experiences. Um, thank you so much. Thank you, Jerry. It, it, it's been an amazing experience tonight. I've really enjoyed it. I also feel like, you know, this won't be the last that we'll, obviously we'll probably catch up on different other platforms and all that, talk to each other, because I feel a good, strong connection and a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. And
You
I
need
just
to
want
drink
to,
water now.
I do, yeah.
Sorry very much, Jason, for taking a lot of times with you today.
Yeah, I feel incredibly humbled by this experience, and uh, from my heart, thank you so much. And yeah, I just want to keep doing what I keep doing,
Mm-hmm.
putting out music, uh, being passionate about it. Obviously, I've got a YouTube channel, and a lot of the songs that I've done today are on there. So if anybody wants to subscribe to my channel, feel free, jump on, subscribe. There'll be new stuff coming up all the time. And yeah, I just feel privileged to be in the position I am to be able to do what I do. It's just an
Mm-hmm.
amazing thing to be able to
Mm-hmm. That's so great. Guys, Jason is incredible musician in the world. Now he's got this YouTube channel called Jason. I'm gonna put down the link below there so you can click and please follow him. Let's help each other here, and we are going to just supporting each other. Whatever we do in life, we're just gonna support each other, and let's just click that link and follow him. He's a lovely guy, as you hear the story behind his life. This is Jason Brian Brigalla, and yeah. So thank you so much for tuning in here in Visionary 101. Ladies and gentlemen, all over the world who's watching right now, thank you so much for your time. I would like to shout out to all the people who's watching right now: Joel Miranda and Rusty Malilin, Marvin Velasquez, and all this stuff of the internet of all these international talents who's always supporting each other in our music in our music. So, for the rest of all of you who's watching right now, we're gonna come back in our Visionary 101 for the next month. This is every month we do, and thank you for all of your support, especially today that you're supporting with Mr. Brian Jason Brian Brigala, all the way from Australia. Thank you guys, and I hope you will follow and continue following, continue liking, and to those of you who don't follow yet, just click Dada Jerry, the Rack Chic, and of course Mr. Jason Brian on his YouTube channel. And also watch him out as well on the event and the YouTube in page, Facebook channels as well, to Marvin Velasquez channel, and also in any platforms. He is definitely singing in his own music. It's amazing that music, the country music, is just really beautiful. All right, Jason.
Thanks,
Um,
Jerry.
thank
Good
you,
night.
and have a lovely evening to you, and good night, and just have a lovely rest there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks a lot,
you,
Jerry.
you, you take care of yourself all the time, and we look forward your own more music on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and God bless you, and more power to you and your music.
Yeah. Mabuhay.
Mabuhay. Yes, mabuhay. Mabuhay ka, Jason. Thank you, and bye bye.
Bye-bye. See you, Jerry.
Thanks.
How do I do this? I got the
All right.